morning, I'm Lee Bennett. I'm the Managing Director of RAGT Seeds. We've got a little bit of everything here this year. Our highlight piece is BYDV resistant wheats that we brand up as Generous wheats. So at the minute these are the only genetically resistant winter wheat varieties that resist the effects of barley yellow dwarf virus. Beyond that, we've got a little bit of everything. So we have all our other conventional wheats as well. We have winter barley, spring barley, and for the first time we've bought the other range of our alternative cereals. So we have triticale here, winter oats, spring oats, and my favourite subject, oilseed rape as well. So we've got a little bit of everything for everyone here. BYDV resistance is really important in wheat. It is the biggest single pest of winter cereals in the UK, and it's the most economically damaging to the crop. For now, we've lost the neonicotinoid seed treatments, so our only means of inorganic control, if you wish, pesticidal control, are pyrethroid sprays. You look at the winter that we've just had, how many people have actually managed to apply any pyrethroids to their autumn cereals? So right now I would say the majority of the UK winter wheat crop is completely unprotected from BYDV, and what we have is a genetic resistance that means if you drill the crop, it will resist the effects of BYDV for the entirety of the season. We try and be all things to all people because what we have is a very broad audience. If you're a feed wheat grower, yes, of course, yield is king, but it can't be yield at any cost. I think the days of just buying yield with big inputs of nitrogen, big fungicide applications, they're gone. People are more focused on bottom line, so they're looking at a package of goods. So I don't think there's one real important factor. Yes, you're going to have some regional differences. If you're in the west of the UK, Septoria is going to be your be-all and end-all. If you're in the southeast, then brown rust will be a focus. If you're on the eastern seaboard, you're never going to take your eye off yellow rust. But for the most part, I think people want a package of goods, and what they're looking to do is mitigate risk without compromising yield as part of that package. So RAGT don't just breed winter wheat, we breed practically every cereal species there is, I think except for rye. So we've left Durham wheat at home, but what we have bought is triticale that people probably don't know that we're a very active breeder of. Winter barley, which is a relatively new species for us to be involved in. Spring barley, I think everyone's heard of RAGT Planet, so we've now bought the pipeline along with it. And of course oats. The UK market is very important for oats, both spring and winter. It's dominated by mainly one or two varieties. We're very active players in both species, both the spring and the winter, and we're very close to giving the number ones a run for their money, in my opinion. I think triticale has a place, but it's not for everyone. I think in lightland situations it certainly stacks up. I think if you're if you're growing cereals for anaerobic digestion, it seriously stacks up. And what we're doing back at home this year on our own demo field is we're demonstrating and trialling every kind of feedstock for anaerobic digestion you can ever think of, challenging the concept of it's not all got to be about maize and rye, and triticale figures very big in that. This season's been shocking, to be fair. I think the stats say it's been the second wettest winter since records began in 1837, and we're nearly in May, and while there's a nice blue sky behind me, I've got my top coat on as well. It's not been a pleasant time. We've had flood after flood after flood, very difficult sowing conditions both in autumn and spring, and then things have to establish in these wet conditions. So we have shallow rooting. There's going to be an impact to this. That there has to be, but yeah, I've got to say let's hope for a big harvest, because this growing season today has not been. It's been one to forget. This is a bit of an old mantra of mine, really, is never farm for the season you've just had. Try and farm for the average of seasons, but it's quite difficult to stick to because we get such massive swings. We get dry summers followed by a wet one. It's so difficult to legislate for, so it is all about spread betting to some degree, but how you just cannot legislate for the weather that we've been having. You really can't. So I just think cover your bases as best you can. So I don't think it's any secret to anyone that RAGT has took a step away from oilseed rape in recent years. I think the last time we were serious players in the market with two varieties called Elise and Windows. That's just been an internal strategic review. We're now backfiring. I'm genuinely very excited by what the pipeline holds. We have traits to bring to market that have never been launched before. We have a diverse genetic pool where we're pulling using both hybrid systems, both the Agora and the MSL system. So now this is probably the first year after a little bit of bedding in where we're going to start looking for serious commercial uptake. So to start with, that'll be our lead variety, which is RGT Kansas. I think that's just a stunning variety. If I was a farmer, I'd certainly be growing it myself. And then we're following that hot on its heels with Black Moon and Cios, all three of which we have in demonstration here. And then the pipeline that's coming through registration, they're already making those look a little bit second rate. So the future of oilseed rape for RAGT is a very bright one. The future of oilseed rape for the UK farmer is, I accept, slightly greyer than it used to be, but it still has an important place there. And what we should never forget is there is an embedded market demand for domestically grown oil in the UK. And right now we're surviving on imports. So if you have the will to grow oilseed rape, there's always going to be a willing domestic buyer. Kansas just jumps out the ground in the autumn, and it does exactly the same in the spring. So its spring regrowth is fantastic. It's a variety that never ever looks bad. And I've always said about rape, it's kind of 299 days of perception and 1 day of fact, and that's the day you get the combine out. So it's got the growth habit that is very much of the now. Its light leaf spot resistance is practically unsurpassed. It's pod shatter resistant. As a package of goods, as a single varietal entity, I think this is exactly what farmers should be growing at this moment in time. Cereals is really important to RAGT. We stepped away from it for a couple of years, and that's probably why cereals refound itself, but it most definitely has done so. What's so important about cereals to us as a business is it allows us to interface directly with the customer, the farmer. So we have a conduit between the farmer, which is the multiplier, the processor, the retailer. They're really important to us. We couldn't conduct our business without them. But the ultimate buyer is the farmer, and it allows us to put right in front of them, alongside with the experts from the business, what our varieties are, what they'll do, equally important what they won't do, and how farmers can get the best out of them. So come and see us at RAGT, and we'll hopefully keep you on track. What do I like most about agriculture? Difficult question. I've got to say, the bit I like about agriculture mostly is the climate that it's conducted in. And if I may turn away from the camera a little bit, you can't buy that. Obviously someone owns it, but that's nature. And I have a job that's absolutely neck and neck with nature. That's invaluable to me. Doesn't mean I work for free, but yeah, the climate in which I work in is the bit I enjoy absolutely the most.